Of greed the holy books condemn, but man's new religion surely does pretend to war and strife and a bitter end. So come, all you who would die in sin, and drink the last from that bottle of gin.
It's something that I have to do. It's a way of making sense out of what for me is a crazy world, a crazy situation, particularly for black people who have survived slavery. I'm reading from my collection, Tamarind and Mango Woman, and I want to talk a little bit about that. Being from Jamaica, fruits are important to me, and tamarind and mango are opposite fruits, if you might. A tamarind, for those of you who don't know, is a very tart kind of fruit, while a mango is very sweet and luscious. And for me, that represents the range of women in the Caribbean. Those who, because of the economic situation and social situation, have become like tamarind, very tight and tart. And the others who, again, because of the circumstances, because of their resilience, are resplendent, are juicy, are luscious, are forever giving. I want to start, and so I'm going to read just random from this collection, Tamarind and Mango Woman, and I want to start with this first piece called A Cultural Trip. And it was written reflecting on all those places in Jamaica that are important to me, those places that provided solace. Press me to your breadfruit chest, enfold me in your mango arms, kiss me with those shoe-black lips, let me taste your guava sip. Be my father forgotten in cane fields, be my brother hidden under banana bunches, be my son killed by election promises, be my Rastaman who dream of the promised land. Hold me in the fallen chambers of Port Royal, caress me on the slopes of Dunn's River Falls, take me on the white sandy beaches of Negril. Come to me, be mine to love over and over again. This next piece is titled Went Downtown One Night, and it was written remembering a trip to Barbados and visiting both sides of Barbados, the more affluent, comfortable side, and then going to the downtown to a club where tourism suggested another reality, a very painful reality. Bajans are like me, fashioned after the night, illuminating like stars, twanging lilt somewhere between the teeth and the truth. She said, if you flirt, I will fly back my wrist and whine, mine shame you. Friendship, we steer, search beneath skin. See us on Baxter Road, grandma by the bar, swinging she hipless waist, the rhythm change, she shakes her shoulder. At the shop, Papa, an old sage, standing upright, his salt beard resting on his chest. 25 years he been living on Baxter Road, studying his people, them frown and grimace, the laughter of them walk, the fatigue and rejection springing from them breasts, falling into the gutters, like water from the standpipe, the communal muting place. A youth man tows his girlfriend pan the bar of his bicycle. She is all smiles, we slumming, licking our fingers from Bajan fish. She pepper to warn, to tease, to say, I want your man to have fun. Swap comfort for poverty, we head for Slim's bar. Inside he reaches for my hand, sits close, rubs shoulder as he sips on his beer, drags on his cigarette, he nudges, I turn into his face, and from somewhere deep within his eyes, his words reach me, I am attracted to you. It touches me like old times. I smile before turning to the scene on the bandstand dance floor. There, Mr. Drumstick, polyester white-down shoes and socks is blowing away the denial of his pain. One hand on the keyboard, the other fingering the notes on his horn, jazz, Bayesian style, with Mr. Checkered shirt, plaid pants touched off with a two-tone brown and beige shoes, footstepping with a white rootups. It slims, where the French cement workers hang out to pick up poor Bayesian girl and suck on their pollens. Euro-Canadian American rootups living in color her black stud fantasy buys herself a boy who permits her to rub on him, allows himself to rub on her, his face torn, the muscles drawn stiff tight like a condom over an erected penis, the Yankee dollar. Queen Rootups does not smell the hate she baits, intent on batting she eyes, swinging she hipless waist, shaking she shagging shoulders in a Mae West exaggerated pose. The boy's face remains taut, knife sticks from his back pocket. He go use it to slice her up. After selling himself, recoiling from the touch of she lobster flesh. Such a mango skin, beige on youth, his eyes no longer see, closed up somewhere in the bosom of his brown mama, who hasn't a penny to replace this survival dance. His fingers play with mine, relieve the pain, telling me in warmth he too is suffocating from these sisters and brothers of ours, their lives like 9-day piss in a pot, charred by the laughter of these passive participants. We laugh, our belly laugh, take the pain into our stomach, applauding this crop over dance that simply refuses to be done. What good is poetry? You know, that's the question that people sometimes ask. And I think Audre Lorde, the African-American feminist lesbian poet who unfortunately has died but has left us a wonderful legacy, says poetry is not a legacy. Poetry is not a luxury. You know, and so the question for me is a rhetorical question. I'm a cultural worker, and by that I mean that poetry is my medium. It is what I use to not only deconstruct, you know, what's going on in the world, but as a vehicle to celebrate a culture. So that when I write, as I did in that last poem, Went Downtown One Night, about my experience in Barbados and my commonality with Bayesian people, what I wanted to do was to give them their story. You know, the story that they live but they don't have time to write or to think about as a story, and to let them see both the sadness and the joy, and also to share it with others, with other people from the Caribbean, people in North America, to let them understand what the conditions is like for people in Barbados or for people throughout the Caribbean, people in Jamaica. And so for me, being a cultural worker means using my art, in this case poetry, to educate, to inform, not simply just to entertain, but in a sense to rewrite history, to give another stamp to what history is. Many of us work in many different ways. I feel that I try to be very socially conscious and very socially responsible, so that I am concerned about everything that affects our lives. I'm concerned about pollution. I'm concerned about wife beating. I'm concerned about the plight of children and children not having voice. And because I don't have a platform, because I'm not a politician and I don't want to be a politician, then I use poetry as a vehicle to say to people, these are the issues that are on my mind. This is how I see them. What do you think? You know, for me, writing poetry is a way to get people to think about certain situations that I deem to be important. And it's a very important work. It is not idle work. It is not dismissive work. You know, what is the value of poetry? Poetry is not a luxury. And I thank Audre Lorde for giving that to us, for letting us understand the important and crucial role that poetry and the arts play in people's life. And I take this role as a cultural worker very seriously and with honor. Cane cutters. This poem celebrates the life of cane cutters. I grew up on a sugar estate, analogous to a cotton plantation in the U.S. Bursting canes led astray by breeze that carries them like raised skirts. Cane fields of the sun, ebony-skinned women, breast hard with milk, seep freely into day. Joy plaited in stalks, sweat propagates soil. Machetes hoisted, lowered, canes tossed on eap, faces starched, indifferent, eyes buried into earth, only bent back and raggedy stained handkerchiefs wipe sweat, wipes perspiration clinging to heads. Songs appear monotonous, but to those familiar with the notes of burden. Words echo from sugar sap. Sun umbrellaing adds to curse, yet steers bodies in motion. Wagons loaded, tons of cane carried along narrow dusty roads, scattered, leaving passengers feeding the pus-filled sores. Wasp buzz, buzz, suck at succulent sweets. Bent bodies revert. Bowels are clamorous, stained handkerchiefs wipe sweat, wipe odor. Donkey borne with load, bray marches a straight line of labor. Lunch, number 11 mangoes, sardine glued between cooking butter on thick chunks of hard-dough bread washed down with sweet water. Boy child, feeling manhood in his crotch, hops wagons, steals sugar, slips wheels, get hold of legs, grinds flesh into dust. Returning, swarm of bees, one of their feet part of the earth, cane borne on the head, cane stepchild trapped to their sides, wagon loaded, another journey begins. And faces of drunken smiles become patterned, rolled by wagons' wheels. This next piece, and I think I want to switch the pace and maybe do some pieces that are more female persona or This piece is called Tamarind, and it celebrates, as I said in the beginning, that other life for women in the Caribbean who sometimes survive by not necessarily honorable means, or certainly not means that we find honorable, prostitution and other means. This is Tamarind. Mangy dog mingle with pot-belly picnics, leave sail in open gutters. Human feces is the only refuse in garbage bins, John Crow circle. Women at darkness keep company with streets, leaning against walls, waiting men whose wallets mean food. Tamarind switch slices flesh, John Crow descends. And a John Crow is a scavenger bird, very popular throughout the Caribbean. Let's see where I want to go. A more light tone. This piece is called Look for Poetry. I walk streets invisible to pedestrians whose gait I search for poetry, knowing the most powerful word songs come from people's souls that do not imitate society's good manners. People walk, more poems are printed. This next piece, Song for Haiti, is very dear to my heart. It is written for the people of Haiti, but actually for all black people in the diaspora. And again, I'm performing it because what I've done is I've invoked the Orishas, or I've invoked the gods of Haiti. So for instance, Dambala, who is the god of the crossroad, is the refrain throughout the piece. And I'm also dressed in accordance, if you might, with attending one of the rituals connected with Haiti. Many of you know voodoo and think of it in a very different way than what it actually is. It's a religious ceremony. It's religiosity. And so I'm dressed because I'm evoking, or I'm inviting the ancestors and the spirits to join me in this celebration for the people of Haiti, for their resilience. And again, I'm accompanied by Babatunde. And this piece is about memory, it's about the past, it's about the future, It's about a celebration of black people's survival in the New World.
Still in the boils, devouring the
gatekeeper, where to find refuge. We gather our lives like shells and flee in boats that crabs know not to trust. We are not eels, and when our tied together handheld rafters rupture in the ocean, we are washed ashore like jellyfish, dried sponge, stepped on, sniffed at, buried in the sand. We are without a home, embargo and corruption, the same color class lines that sold Toussaint to die in a French jail, the same color class colonization that divided up the country after all the learning and burning and bloodshed for liberty, not this starvation, not this drought, not this killing of brothers by brothers, not this swindling of sisters by sisters, not the same colonized mentality. Old man, your tears leave a trail that fat red hands fight over, but the meat is dry. Even after we are washed ashore, even after we defy the Caribbean Sea, even after we held back the waves with our teeth and the fiber of our hair, we are ensnared, confined behind barbed wire fence in this the land that is still not free for the ex-slaves. Oh, gatekeeper, your feet bruise the earth, causing iguanas to wrap their stomachs. The sand is stinging. Our voices echo ricocheting through the valley. Our plight is a drama dismissed by the contented. Our freedom is a prize withheld with sin. For the glory should not be ours. We who deem the most poor, the most underdeveloped, the most in turmoil. But the drum sounds! Dambala! Dambala! The Abeng rejoins! Dambala! Dambala! Our irresistible spirits fail. Dambala! 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 Old man, gatekeeper, stay nestled in the corner of midnight. Continue to sleep upright. We are moving on. The waters are our friends. Dambala, 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 oh. Dambala, 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 oh. Dambala, 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 Dambala.